baseball. Back at it are the Marlins, and they open up a rather large series at Marlins Park. Tonight, the Boston Red Sox are in for 3. The Marlins have dropped 6 in a row. The Red Sox have dropped 6 of their last 7. The roof is wide open, and we go back to 2003 when Josh Beckett was on the mound at Yankee Stadium. Jack McKeon started him on a short day's rest, and it paid off with a Game 6 win and a second World Championship for the city of Miami. And Beckett returns to Marlins Park. He gets the ball for the Red Sox tonight against Josh Johnson. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, Cliff Floyd, Tommy Hutton. This should be fun. Red Sox, Marlins, first of 3 tonight. And it's Josh versus Josh. And we'll start with Beckett. We'll start with you, Tommy. It's ironic. The Marlins have played the Red Sox twice since the trade in the winter of '05. But they've not faced Beckett. Beckett's not faced them before.
Yeah, I was still excited watching that footage from the 2003 World Series, and certainly a great moment for Marlins fans. I think this game means a little more for Josh Beckett because he's coming back to pitch against the organization that drafted him in the first round, second player chosen in 1999. He's been a very good pitcher in interleague plays, 13-5. He's also been a better pitcher over his last 5 starts with an ERA of 2.21 and a 2-2 record.
Now, when Beckett was in his last year with the Marlins in '05, there was a tall, young right-hander out of Oklahoma that followed him around for the last 2 months of the season, and that was Josh Johnson. And Cliff, the Marlins are counting on Johnson tonight to put an end to this 6-game skid.
Well, I think, the one thing we talked about is Josh Johnson being dominant tonight, coming out, doing what he did his last start. Just give him, stay in the ball game, stay with what he's been doing really good of late, and that's making some bats miss. I'm looking forward to him stopping the skid tonight.
Josh Johnson will try to put an end to the skid. It's Beckett against JJ. One question for the Fish: can they start scoring some runs? We'll look for answers when we return with the roof open at Marlins Park. open. About 20 minutes ago, the Marlins making the decision to open the roof, a little bit blustery, but not a bad night at all here in downtown Miami. And ready for the Marlins and the Red Sox. Let's go out to center field. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. Guys?
Rich, that could affect the game. Cody Ross told me before the game with the roof open and early BP, the ball was flying out. You saw that too. Maybe that'll help the Marlins with their offensive woes during this 6-game losing streak.
Well, I mean, some of those pop flies or fly balls that have gotten stopped at the track might fly out of here tonight and help them score a few runs.
Let's take a look at the numbers. Niner through these 6 games. Unfortunately, from an offensive standpoint, nothing very pretty on this page. Outscored 43-10 on this homestand, those 6 games. What number bothers you the most?
Well, the runners in scoring position, 150, because they have had opportunities. 71 runners on base in 6 games is pretty decent amount. They just not have had the big hit to get those guys to home plate.
Yeah, $150 with RISP and under 220 now, 217 for the season with runners in scoring position. Lomo gave you a bright spot yesterday. He'll get a chance with the roof open here to hit in this game tonight. Should be fun.
A couple days off for Lomo. I think he cleared his mind, got his mechanics back, had a great night last night with 3 hits.
Battle of Joshes. Josh Johnson, 3-4 in the year against former Marlin hero Josh Beckett. All on Fox Sports Florida next.
Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. Marlins Park and the roof open for just the 5th time in the regular season. A nice little surprise for the Marlins and the Boston Red Sox. Scott Podsednik into the box. Pinch a penny, the first pitch, and Josh Johnson whistles in a fastball for a strike. And we're underway with what is a 3-game series of 2 teams who are desperate for wins right now. The Red Sox have lost 6 of 7. The Fish have dropped 6 in a row. And Podsednik takes up the count 1-1.
One quick thing, early on we saw JJ in his last outing, which I thought was his best outing this year, throw 93-94 with the first couple of pitches. He's done the same thing here. That's a good sign.
Yes, it is.
Podsednik, Major League veteran, and a key part of the World Championship that Ozzie Guillen won in Chicago in 2005. He was a base-stealing machine and a fleet-footed outfielder for Guillen, and has a ring just like Mark Burley, Aaron Rowan, and the rest of that White Sox ball club. 2-2. Back up the middle and into center field. Podsednik has really hit since joining this ball club, and he sends one into center field. Red Sox lineup brought to you by SunTrust. Podsednik, Dustin Pedroia. Adrian Gonzalez is in right field because they need to place for Big Papi to play, and he's at first. Jared Saltalamacchia will do the catching. Kevin Youkilis is at third base. Ryan Sweeney, a very good outfielder, in center. Micah Vilas is at shortstop, and Beckett will hit ninth. There was a time that when Podsednik would get to first, guys, you would say he's running. Those were many years ago. He's 36. He stole 70 bases back in 2004 with Milwaukee.
He has over 300 career stolen bases.
He's been a big pickup for the Red Sox. The fact that you lose Jacoby Ellsbury and Carl Crawford in your lineup. He's been able to come in and step up and be the table setter for the big boys in the middle of the order.
Pedroia, who's been bothered by a bruised thumb, is back in the lineup and slotted behind Podsednik and in front of Adrian Gonzalez. Marlins infield looks for two, and JJ chases Podsednik back. Dustin
Pedroia coming back from that thumb injury, sort of same injury that Kevin Youkilis had with the thumb, but he opted not have surgery. So we, sort of see how he comes back. He's just getting back into the lineup. Went 1 for 4 yesterday, but he doesn't have his timing yet. It takes a little bit of time once you don't get any reps in before you jump back, in the lineup.
So what you're saying is the laser show has not started yet?
I don't think so. Laser show is definitely on break.
Now, Pedroia has had a great run with the Red Sox for sure. An MVP in 2008. JJ to the plate, and he swings and fouls it back. 1-2.
Yeah, Pedroia has really had a few struggles even before the thumb injury. He's not driven the ball the way he normally does. No home runs since May 13th. Batting average in the low 200s. But you just know that sooner or later, with his track record, Dustin Pedroia is going to catch fire.
Throw to first. Podsednik is back in. Podsednik on his left hand has kind of a sliding mitt.
Well, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. Emilio Bonifacio ought to look into that.
Oh, yeah. Sean Cunningham is all over that one. Marlins trainer.
Well, last year, Podsednik wasn't even in the big leagues because he had foot issues. He had plantar fasciitis and did not appear in a big league game. Was in AAA with the Blue Jays and the Phillies, and he went to camp with the Phillies before the Red Sox plucked him with all the injuries that Cliff talked about. Counts 2-2, and Johnson to first.
Yeah, we actually talked about that when we were in Philadelphia. Podsednik and Juan Pierre were both in camp with the Phillies, trying to earn a spot on the roster as a fourth or fifth outfielder. JP won the battle and has been a 300 hitter for the Phillies.
And the amazing thing is, here's Podsednik. He's doing the same thing for the Red Sox that Pierre has done for the Phillies. And he's running, pitches out. Buck's throw is high, and he steals it.
It's a ball club, Rich, with a few exceptions, is not going to run a whole lot. That's only their 22nd stolen base as a team. But the one guy, if he gets on, is going to run is Scott Podsednik.
And Tommy, with that said, I mean, you look at this lineup, one of those lineups that in the past has been a power lineup, fellas. A lineup that hits home runs and sort of counts on that. But, when you look at the lineup this year, a little bit different, some injuries, and the fact that you don't have those, the power numbers there, so you have to manufacture runs. And that's what Scott Podsednik is trying to do right there, get on base, steal a bag, and get something going.
Bobby Valentine has to be pretty pleased. He's got Podsednik out at second. Pedroia draws a walk. And now you get into the teeth of the order for the Red Sox. Adrian Gonzalez, David Ortiz, and the pride
Palm Beach, Jared Saltalamacchia.
We haven't talked a whole lot, Rich, of the little bit of battle we may see between Bobby Valentine and Ozzie Guillen. A couple of guys who may not be the best of friends. They had a little verbal skirmish in spring training.
That was Bobby V being him, you know, sort of doing the wave, acting like he was waving at the, you know, third base coach as he's actually telling Ozzie bye-bye from the game. That's the type of stuff he does.
Ozzie was ejected from a spring game, and you're right, Bobby V kind of waved him goodbye.
But it goes back even further. Back in 05, when the White Sox, Ozzie's White Sox, won the World Series, Bobby Valentine's Japanese team won the Japan World Series. Valentine challenged the White Sox to a total World Series match. Of course, I don't think Major League Baseball would sanction that, but you know, it goes back to there.
Well, if you wanted to get even tighter, Bobby Valentine was almost the Marlins manager 2 years ago when the Marlins fired Freddie Gonzalez in midseason. Bobby Valentine reportedly was the prime target to become the Marlins manager, and many thought he would be, but it just didn't work out. They could not come to an agreement. And so the Marlins promoted Edwin Rodriguez, gave him the job full time. Rodriguez, of course, resigned last year, and Valentine waited until this year to get back into the big leagues.
And in the meantime, JJ in a jam. Trouble throwing strikes. He's got some tough hitters to deal with.
Gonzalez takes a strike on a 3-0 pitch, and it's 3-1. Adrian Gonzalez, of course, a longtime Padre, the first overall pick by the Marlins in 2000. We talk about Beckett's impact on a world championship. Gonzalez, in an indirect way, had it. Marlins dealt him to Texas for Ugueth Urbina in the stretch drive in 03. The Rangers would then trade him to San Diego, his hometown, and he finally got a chance to play, and boy did he ever put up big numbers, which earned him a big payday in Boston.
I got a chance to play with Adrian in San Diego in 08 and 09, and what a show he put on every single day. You know, he could go oppo, he could go center field, he could pretty much do what he wanted to do. And I had a chance to, you know, talk to him when he got to Boston, changing leagues, thought it would be a little difficult for him. He said, you know what, still baseball. Still go out there and play the game between the lines every single day, see the baseball, hit the ball, baseball. He keeps it that simple, and that's why he's been so, you know, so great at it for so, you know, for a short period of time in his career. So.
And the numbers he put up in San Diego, I think, made much more impressive because he did not have a lineup around him. He was pitched around and walked an awful lot. Sednick at second, Pedroia at first, 3-2 coming. And Gonzalez fouls it off his foot. It's a big moment here, I think, for the Marlins, a team that has found itself behind repeatedly during this 6-game losing streak and out of games at times, third, fourth inning.
It's even tougher when you know you've had trouble scoring, too, and you get behind early.
Gonzalez waits, Johnson ready. Fastball, he struck him out, 95 miles an hour. Well, the first out is a big one for Josh Johnson, and Cleveland Clinic brings you the Marlins defense.
Yeah, Logan Morrison, Coughlin, and Stanton in that outfield. Donovan Solano, the one change on the infield, getting a start. Omar Infante with a night off tonight. He's been playing a whole lot. John Buck behind the plate. And boy, was that a big pitch to strike out a tough hitter in Adrian Gonzalez.
Well, it doesn't get much easier now with David Ortiz. And Ortiz, you can see his numbers on the season. With the 14 home runs, he has 20 doubles as well. Big swing and a pop-up. Foul back and out of play. Ortiz very close to Hanley Ramirez. Hanley, of course, coming up in the Boston organization. Ortiz from the Dominican Republic as well. And the two have remained close.
So I'm chit-chatting before the game out there in center field getting loose. It's always good to see.
Hanley's always respected and admired. Big Papi.
Outfield playing Ortiz to pull. And Johnson gets a strike on a check swing. And the fastball is up in the mid-90s right now. And it's 0-2.
Here's what you were talking about, Cliff.
Yeah, just talking, shooting the talk, catching up on what's going on. Poppy probably telling him just keep swinging it. Everything going to be okay.
Well, that's what David Ortiz has done. Even at the start of the last few seasons when his bat was cold and people doubted that maybe he was done. Everything has been okay for him.
I heard a great line on David Ortiz, Big Papi. He's a team leader. He's a DH who stays on the bench, number one, when his club's trying to score some runs. And as a leader, he also leads the league, though, in giving the opposition hugs.
He's like a goodwill ambassador.
Oh, he goes around, gives everybody a hug.
Johnson just missed on that slider. The 1-2 coming. Fastball, fly ball. Coughlin and Morrison after it. The wind is swirling. Coughlin makes the catch. Posednik is on his way to third, and he's going to get there. Reyes turned to see if Pedroia was following to second. Ortiz shaking his hand as he goes to the dugout. At the corners now for a rather hot Jared Saltalamacchia.
It's a whole new ball game tonight for the infielders and outfielders. Obviously for the Red Sox, they've never played here before. But for the Marlins, who, as you mentioned, this is the 5th game with the roof open. But most of the time, they've been getting used to the roof closed and kind of normal conditions. It's going to be an interesting night tonight.
Yes, it is. You would think before the game, you would let your guys in the outfield get a sort of an idea of how the wind was going. As you mentioned, Rich, is swirling a little bit. Maybe could have took some balls off the bat a little bit to see, what that wind is doing, and it'll only help you.
This is unusual. The first time I think that the roof has been closed and then open just before the game. Normally, if it's going to be open, we see it open during batting practice.
That's what you would think.
Yeah.
Jared Saltalamacchia out of Palm Beach. The 27-year-old stands in and swings and misses at a sharp slider, and it's 1-1. Saltalamacchia, a sandwich pick by the Atlanta Braves. Of course, dealt to Texas in the Mark Teixeira trade, and then in 2010 traded to Boston, and he's just starting to fulfill the promise. He had a solid year last year, 16 homers in 103 games. He's hit some bombs this year.
Takes some guys a little bit longer to get it, Rich. Jared Saltalamacchia was with the Braves, struggled a little bit, then came to Boston. Had a decent year, but now he's getting a chance to play every day, getting an opportunity to get out there, getting comfortable with the pitching staff, and you see the stats are starting to improve.
And he's got a nice fan club down here from Royal Palm Beach here tonight, too.
So Josh Johnson is a strike away from getting out of this mess. The 1-2, runner goes. Swinging a drive to center. Coughlin is there. And he makes the catch, and Johnson escapes a first and second, and nobody out jammed. Marlins coming up in a scoreless ball game. Two aces in the house and two aces who are getting back to that type of form. Welcome inside Marlins Park. Roof is open. The Budweiser bow tie balcony is going on. The Boston Red Sox are here. That roar that you hear in the crowd right now, they are showing highlights of the Miami Heat's Game 7 win over the Boston Celtics.
Boy, our congratulations to the Heat as they get ready to open up tomorrow night in the championship against Oklahoma, and good to have Chris Bosh back.
Better believe it is. They definitely need him, and that's going to be a great series. So looking forward to watching that.
Those numbers just don't look right next to Beckett's name. 4-6, a 4.04 ERA. Reyes runs up and takes a strike. Reyes. Now, the Marlins don't have a whole lot of experience against Beckett. Reyes has 14 at-bats worth and is just 1 for 14. John Buck is 3 for 14. Outside corner. Reyes snapped his head back, didn't like it. It's 0-2.
Well, it is pretty amazing that Josh Beckett has never faced the Marlins, even though the Marlins over the last few years have had some matchups against the Red Sox.
Fastball darts away. Beckett's last time out, he pitched well, gave up 2 earns, 5 hits in 8 innings, but lost to Baltimore. His last win was on the 20th of May. The 1-2. Breaking ball, smoked into right center field. That's a base hit, and if it gets through, it's 3. And Reyes is off to the races. He's got a triple.
That's what the Marlins been missing. You know, just getting something going in the first inning and allowing your pitcher to settle down like Josh Johnson and other guys in the rotation. If this starts to happen, this is how you break losing streaks. This is how you get guys feeling good about themselves in the game. Everybody starts to have a little bit more fun. Their team is about fun. But when you're losing, everybody's tight and tense. And that's what they've been playing like the last 6 days. So.
Well, look at that. Active leaders in triples. That was a pretty good curveball by Beckett. It was out over the plate. And Jose Reyes just went down and raked it.
Stayed on it.
Yeah.
Now, the Marlins have a runner at third base, but that's no guarantee of a run in these last 6 games. The Fish have really struggled with runners in scoring position, and it's rookie Donovan Solano who's up in the 2 spot. Omar Infante out of the lineup. It's a night off for Infante, and Solano has been absolutely terrific. Everything that Ozzie has asked him to do, he's done, and then some.
When he started, he's gotten hits. He's 4 for 8 as a pinch hitter.
That's been the one big bonus for the Marlins, and the fact that they have quality guys off the bench stepping up. Greg Dobbs, Peterson, Brett Hayes has been doing this job. And then, you know, Solano now is getting an opportunity. And Ozzie feels comfortable, you know, putting his guys out there, if he needs to give a break, as he's doing with Omar Infante tonight, or just to get the guys and keep them fresh.
Middle infield is back. Corners are even. And Solano swings and misses.
What I like, and it shows the confidence that Ozzie has in Solano, is that starting him at second, he also put him in the number 2 spot in the lineup. And he didn't move him down in the order. He knows what he's getting from Donovan Solano.
Right now, he'd just like a ground ball to shortstop.
That's it. Something easy, simple, get the run in. There it is.
Right center field, and that's deep enough to get the run in. Adrian Gonzalez, not all that familiar in right. And the relay home, Reyes will score. And the Marlins have a 1-0 lead. Donovan Solano delivers that run with a sacrifice fly.
Yeah, he just seems to know what to do. He has a good approach. He had an idea there. He knew he wanted to get that run in from third. And it all started with Reyes.
Well, that's a great point, because you look at that pitch, it's elevated. Don't try to do too much with it. Just sitting there. You know you got a fast guy at third base in Reyes. Get the easy sac fly.
How sweet is it, Cliff, when you are in that situation and you know you have speed at third?
It's so easy. All you got, I'm sitting up here telling them about it, but I'll tell you what, all you got to do is, in your mind, you're telling yourself, just hit the ball.
Hanley, a slow roller. Aviles, a very good shortstop, and he throws Hanley out by a step. And so there are 2 outs. Here comes Giancarlo Stanton. And here comes the Marlins line, brought to you by SunTrust. You've seen Reyes, you've met Solano, you watched Hanley. Here comes Giancarlo. Logan Morrison had a nice day yesterday. Gabby Sanchez returned with an RBI double yesterday. Chris Coughlin's in center. John Buck is in the 8th spot, and Josh Johnson hits 9th. And here is Stanton against Beckett. Broken bat. Dumps that one into center field, a base hit. And so the strength of Stanton, a 2-out single before Morrison digs in. Let's take a look at Boston defensively, brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic.
And there it is with Podsednik, good speed. Sweeney, very good center fielder. Adrian Gonzalez in right. Youkilis, Aviles at short. Pedroia and David Ortiz, Big Poppy, starting at first base. That's why Gonzalez is in right field, and Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate.
Hard to fit Saltalamacchia's name on that little defensive tab there.
Yeah, I just have Salty in my scorebook.
I think he's the longest name active in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and by the way, Beckett, when he jams most hitters the way he jammed Stanton, is saying, how'd he get a base hit on that?
Now Morrison. Guys, what did you see from Morrison yesterday that was different from previous at-bats the past month?
Well, the one thing I liked is he let the ball travel a little bit. The only way to hit the ball with some power to the opposite field and get it over a guy's head like B.J. Upton, who's a fast center fielder for the Tampa Bay Rays, is to let the ball travel, stay on it, and stay through the ball. And that's what he did yesterday. Hopefully he continues that because he is a big bat in this Marlins lineup that definitely needs to get going.
And he used a lot of the field. Hit the 1 double to right field. Hit that one Cliff was talking about in the left center.
And this may not be a great ballpark if you hit fly balls to deep center. But if you're a gap-to-gap hitter, which Morrison has been in his career, coming up in the minors and his brief time in the big leagues, this should be a good place to hit.
I agree with you, Rich. I mean, this park, in my opinion, sort of plays like Coors Field. Now, the ball's not going to fly particularly like Coors Field, but when you talk about guys having to play deep and how big this park is, if you're a gap guy, as Coors Field, you get a lot of balls in the gap that's going to fall in. Some balls down the line is going to fall in because guys have to play and keep you honest.
Stanton's at first, 2 outs. Beckett ready. And is 2-1. Right down the heart of the plate. No, it's 2-2 now. Beckett, of course, the 2nd overall pick in 2000. The Marlins' first selection in that draft. A postseason hero in 03. A postseason hero in 07. Morrison to right. It's deep. Off the top of the wall. Stanton headed for third. Gonzalez bobbles it. Here comes Stanton. Here comes a relay. He's in there. 2-0. Adrian Gonzalez, not a lot of experience in right field, and it showed.
This is a tough play for Adrian. He's got to get that ball and try to get in as quick as he can. He tries to get it in fast, drops the ball, which allows Giancarlo to come all the way around and score. But that's another great at bat by Lomo. Stand on his legs, and I think he's starting to get healthy, fellas. And if he gets healthy and starts to swing the bat like that, this line can turn, and the Marlins will start winning some ball games.
Yeah, that lower half starting to get strong, and he just accelerates on that. There's the bobble by Gonzalez. I don't know if an error will be charged. It is. He's been charged with an error allowing Stanton to score. I would guess still a double, though, for Logan Morrison.
2-0, Marlins on top, and here is Gabby Sanchez. And of course, it was Gonzalez that went to Bobby Valentine, much like last year when he went to Terry Francona and said, look, I'll play in the outfield if you want to get Big Poppy in the games in National League ballparks. Gabby with a drive into right field. That's going to fall base hit. Here comes Lomo. Gonzalez's throw is cut. It's 3-0.
Just what the doctor ordered. Some nice hitting with runners in scoring position. Great thought process on Lomo, on Gabby to stay back and drive the ball that way. Didn't hit it all that hard, but got it just right.
Doesn't take much to get that, just put the ball in play. Don't take much to get a hit over the head of the infielders, get another RBI. Yeah, you have to give yourself a chance in these situations to just go run. You put the ball in play, you never know what can happen.
And wouldn't you know it, the ball finds Adrian Gonzalez twice in crucial situations in the first inning.
That's one of the things American League managers will talk about. They'll say, well, we're at a disadvantage in a National League city. We've got to sit a guy or play a guy at a position that he doesn't play that much.
Beckett now facing Chris Coghlan. And, of course, the National League manager will tell you, well, I don't even have that guy on my roster.
I'll tell you, a guy who went crazy the 3 days he was able to DH was Jim Thome.
Well, he's used to it.
Yeah.
He's built for that. Breaking ball from Beckett is a strike. Coghlan walked a couple times yesterday. Chris trying to get back on track. I think everybody from the 5 spot down just trying to find it right now. Morrison appears to have found it. Gabby has a couple of RBI hits since being called up yesterday. Gabby runs, little roller out towards second. Pedroia scoots over and throws him out. But the Marlins get to Josh Beckett with 3 runs on 4 hits, and it's 3-0. In another home run challenge game. Every home run raises $14,000 for prostate cancer research. You can pledge by calling 800-798-CURE, 800-798-2873, or go online to pcf.org. Looks like a great seat out on the Budweiser bow tie balcony. Josh Johnson to work here in the second. Kevin Youkilis 1-0. Youkilis, who's appeared in just 35 games. Back issues have limited his time. JJ falls behind him quickly, 2-0.
This is where JJ has to step it up. First inning through 27 pitches. He has to have a quick inning so he can get a long, get 6-7 innings out of him tonight.
Roller out towards short. Reyes fires to first in time. And Youkilis is out number 1.
He's listening to him.
That mini transistor IFB that we installed in his hat works quite well.
Always works, doesn't it?
Now Ryan Sweeney is up. Cliff, you alluded to the fact that the Red Sox are a banged-up bunch. Jacoby Ellsbury, one of the biggest losses. Ellsbury had an enormous year last year. Sweeney has done a nice job filling in. He doesn't have the power, but he is a plus outfielder. He's got 17 doubles. And he's hitting over 300. He takes a strike.
Thought it was really interesting, Rich, in talking to Bobby Valentine about Ellsbury, about Carl Crawford, another missing piece. And you kind of got the same company line that the Phillies are giving on Utley and Howard, that there's no timetable for either of those guys. They're doing some things right now, but right now he said no timetable for either Crawford or Ellsbury.
It's always tough. You know, you guys both know me and the injuries that I had, and everybody go, well, you'll be back in 2 weeks? Sure, I'll be back in 2 weeks, but you just never know how the body heals. So take some time, and guys get an opportunity to play. If they're going to be contenders towards the end of the season, fellas, they're going to need these guys to step up and be there to help them out. So, you want your big boys out there, but if you can get some quality at bats and quality play from your sub guys, it definitely helps.
That's what Ryan Sweeney has done all year long, is just straight line drives. He's got a base hit to left. He's aboard with one out. We're in high definition tonight, brought to you by H.H. Gregg. See the roof open, swirling wind.
Just a gorgeous night. That's I'm sure why the decision was made to open the roof.
And I think the breeze actually is a nice touch, because normally this time of the year the humidity is oppressive. Fastball is up and in, but not bad today, and tonight, as you noted, pleasant.
This is a guy who's really done a nice, steady job for the Red Sox this year. He's actually 34 games hitting the leadoff spot. But Mike Aviles playing shortstop, a very solid shortstop.
Aviles takes a strike. Aviles with the Kansas City Royals, and then last year acquired by Boston tail end of the season. He's one of the few position players that has had Tommy John surgery. He had it in 2009. That can't be easy as a shortstop. A little easier when you're a first baseman. We saw John Baker go through that as a catcher. That's tough. And Aviles had it in 2009.
With the amount of throws in the hole that you have to make,
and from different angles.
Yeah.
It's not like a pitcher. He can come back and get that same release point.
JJ's out in front of him, 1-2.
Got him.
Yes! Sweeney was leaning. It's something Johnson has worked on throughout his career, and he's getting better and better at it.
He's been a lot better at it this year, and a lot of credit to Joey Cora, who makes those calls, the throw over to first base. And Joey may have picked something up at JJ throw over, and he caught Sweeney flat-footed. That's big.
It doesn't
because,
look like he was going.
Yeah, that's big. Right here, if he's able to get Aviles, then he can start the next inning with Beckett. So that's a big out.
Look at that. 86 pickoff throws, his second pickoff of the year. And he gets him. Aviles swings and misses. It will be Beckett who leads off in the third. Marlins up early, 3-0.
Fútbol en Español es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
That means those are cervezas and cold ones. Roof open. Great look. Coventry Healthcare second inning. Hello. 3-0 Marlins on top. Here's the scouting report on Josh Beckett.
Sure we have to do it on Beckett? Brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. There it is. 3 pitches. We've seen the curveball, good fastball. He's got that splitter changeup. Still has good stuff. World Series hero. We all know he won that game 6, the clincher, but he went 2-2 with a 2.11 ERA, 2 complete game shutouts in 6 postseason games in 2003.
John Buck with Josh Johnson to follow, and Beckett misses up and in. Marlins getting 3 in the first. Sacrifice fly by Donovan Solano followed a Reyes triple. Giancarlo Stanton a 2-out single. Logan Morrison nearly hit one out. That knocked on the second run, and then Gabby Sanchez with an RBI single. And a strike to Buck. And for John, struggles to get going at the plate. When Preston Wilson was here, he talked about just little victories. Look for progress wherever you can find it, whether it's a base on ball, whether it's a hard hit ball. And we've seen a little bit of that out of Buck. It's human nature that you want to make it all up at once.
Well, you have to go all the way back. It is human nature to go out there and want to get a hit every at bat, and we all know that's not going to happen. But you have to just sort of start over, go back to the basics, see it, hit it. You know, when I was slumping, I just get close on the dish and just keep the hacking. Keep hacking. You know, they're going to throw the ball on the plate. They know you're struggling. Until you start to hit the ball consistently hard, they just keep pounding you in, throwing stuff in the dirt. Every time, and Hutch, you back me on this, every time you step in that box, you owe 2 when you're struggling. It just feels that way.
That's the way it feels.
And Buck has seen a lot of his line drives. When he does have a good at bat, a lot of his line drives end up in someone's glove.
Yeah, not all are you 0-2. There's like 15 guys out there playing defense.
Here's the 1-2. Beckett had that one slip, it looked like. Misses in, and it's 2-2. Tommy, he was a postseason hero in 03 and 07. He was the American League Championship Series MVP. He was the World Series MVP for the Marlins.
Well, he had an incredible year. He was second in the Cy Young in 07.
That was a big, big year. CC Sabathia won the award, but Beckett was 20-7. Buck right on that breaking ball, and he drives it into center field.
I'll tell you about little victories. That's even bigger than a little victory. He got the hit, number 1, but he fouled off fastballs, and he had 2 strikes on him, so you know he's just looking for the ball, and he hit a breaking ball for the base hit.
It always gets you going.
Yeah.
Keeping that front shoulder in allows you to stay through the ball. It just makes you feel good running down the line. When you're struggling, you get on base and you want to keep the ball. You want Josh to throw that ball over to the dugout.
Well, let's see if this Josh can drop down a bunt. Beckett trying to get Buck over there. JJ, 3 sacrifice bunts, and he's got to be pretty precise here with Buck running at first, and Youkilis knows that. That's why he's eager and anxious to get in. If JJ can bring this down the first baseline, he deadens it. It's picked up by Saltalamacchia. Buck got a terrific jump, and JJ is out at first.
Yeah, it's a couple of options for Josh Johnson, and he dropped down a beauty. He deadened the ball out in front of the plate. The other option, anybody thinking about doing that needs to bunt it toward David Ortiz. He's not played out there a whole lot at first base, and that's the guy you want to field the ball, if not make a perfect bunt like JJ did.
Now Reyes with 1 out. Ortiz very deep at first as well, and Reyes certainly a good bunter. Reyes calls time, and Beckett steps off. Reyes hit a liner just to the right of Pedroia, and I think something that the Red Sox are going to learn, that we've learned about this ballpark, the outfield grass is low and fast. And with the big gaps, because of the big dimensions, if you hit a line drive in the gaps, there's a good chance it's rolling to the wall.
All day, every day. And Jose Reyes is the table setter of this team. This team goes as he goes. I know it doesn't have Bonifacio in there right now, but what he did in the first inning is what this team needs to do if you want to stop this slide that they're on and get back to those winning ways.
Reyes had his 4th triple of the season.
Cliff and I were talking about that before the game, Rich, the absence and how it has become glaring, even more so during the losing streak, the absence of Bonifacio and what he does for the club defensively and offensively.
Well, we noted the other day, Tommy, when Bonifacio was put in the 7th spot, the Marlins were 6-3 in those ball games. And even though the bats around him were struggling, he at least provided a spark for that end of the lineup.
Right. I mean, and when you talk about spark, you talk about a guy that last month had 11 stolen bases. As a team, they had probably 37 stolen bases, scored 74 runs. Giancarlo was phenomenal hitting the ball at the ballpark. A lot of good things. But when you talk about those two guys, it means a lot to this team when you need runs scored.
1-2. Reyes pulls it on the ground. Ortiz handles it and steps on the bag. And so Solano comes up with Buck at third base and 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority, the Miami Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Tommy, I think we got to start a new tradition when either Preston or Cliff comes into the booth. They should read the disclaimer.
I like
Come
that.
on.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
By the way, Big Papi is not that bad at first base. He's in good shape, a lot better shape than he was. And he played first base quite a few years ago, but he's okay over there.
Athletic. There's nothing wrong with. I mean, everybody thinks because he's a DH that he can't play the field. He has the DH, but
And I guarantee he enjoys it.
he
going
has
out there and
ball
playing.
habit.
Yeah.
I know. When I used to DH, I had only one opportunity in Tampa to do it, and I hated it because I want to be in the field, especially when I'm 0 for 4. I'm like, you know what, this stinks.
The 0-1. There aren't that many really true DHs in the American League.
I agree. They are starting to now be more versatile, bring their gloves out. You don't have the prototypical home run guy no more. Adam Dunn is probably the only one now, but he's now figured out that role. 20 bombs, with the Chicago White Sox.
Solano up the middle. He drives in another run. My goodness. Donovan Solano, a sacrifice fly in the first and an RBI single here. And he just continues. I mean, the story just gets better and better.
Well, he's going to make it hard for Ozzie to keep him out of that lineup. He keeps doing these things.
And you have to go back to spring training to read the story, because that's where he hit over 400 and impressed everybody. Every time he got a chance to play, impressed everybody so much. He got up here. He even started a couple of games in left field, a position he'd never played at the major league level.
And, he was really stuck in the Cardinals organization at AAA for parts of 3 seasons. We've talked about it. Tony La Russa always had 4 or 5 Nick Punto, Skip Schumacher type guys, Aaron Miles, veteran guys that could play multiple positions, but the one constant was they had major league experience, and Solano didn't have any of that. And he never got a chance to play with St. Louis. Goes to camp with the Marlins and nearly hits 500, impresses everybody. And the funny thing, guys, is he wasn't hitting that well in AAA.
He's in the 260s.
Yeah. He went down to AAA and gets called up. And so far has been outstanding. Hanley bounced to short. His first time up, and Beckett with a breaking ball for a strike. The Marlins have pushed Beckett's pitch count up to 36.
We always like it, Rich. Our crack staff enjoys delving into past statistics. Cliff, as a DH, You were in 120 games. You hit 18 home runs, 25 doubles, 62 RBIs. Not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I mean, listen, I hated it, but I had to do it. I figured if I was going to do it, I might as well do okay at it.
Now,
it's just getting a routine.
How do you think you did against Josh Beckett?
I don't think I did that well. I know I did hit one home run against him in the AL Divisional Series in 08 as a Tampa Bay Ray. You know, but some guys you just know you don't have a good track record. I don't think I hit him pretty well at all.
Beckett, long wait. 2-1 to Hanley. It's pop foul. Tommy, how did Cliff hit Josh Beckett?
Not too bad. Better than you think.
Yeah.
8 for 28, so that's about 280.
Yeah.
285. A double, a couple of home runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Wow.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
I'd put you in the lineup tonight.
You'll start me, right?
Yeah, I would.
And just in case you were wondering, you were 2 for 6 off JJ.
Yeah, I figured with JJ, he was tough on me, man. He just would pound me in all day long.
Solano's at first. Another RBI for the rookie for the Marlins, and he's running. Swing and a miss at the 2-2 pitch. Beckett strikes out Hanley Ramirez. Marlins add on, and it's 4-0 after 2. In the third, let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, a hot spot tonight, no doubt about it, the Budweiser bar. As you see us here, the fans are all over the place, sitting down at the bar. We're going to give you a better look, though, because we have Victor up here tonight. First of all, if you're up here at the Budweiser bar, you got a great view in between innings. You can look the other way. Downtown Miami, a brilliant sunshine tonight. And then if you can walk your way through here, it's not easy because there's so many fans here, but we're going to walk through. You can see a great crowd tonight. Red Sox, Marlins. We've got some Red Sox fans. Marlin fans here, a Red Sox fan. What do you think of the ballpark?
I think it's a wonderful ballpark, but in all honesty, only in Fenway Park will you see that stadium sold out every game. I love it here. Miami's wonderful, but I represent the home team always.
All right, she's a Red Sox fan. We understand that. But,
you know, we've got to respect the history of the Boston fans. But the Miami Marlins are stating a new example of what fan support is all about. Look at this stadium.
I agree. What do you think? Let's just talk stadium. How do you enjoy the park?
Stadium's good. You can't beat the weather here, but the beach is honestly the only thing South Florida has going for it right now.
Well, don't forget about the heat, buddy. All right.
What heat?
Hey, let's give you guys a view. Vic, turn around. Let's give a view of what we see from here. It really is a spectacular view to catch a beverage, catch the game, and have some fun with your friends. Guys, take it away.
All right, thank you, Craig. You have some fun out there. Take a couple innings off.
Hey, take a couple of shots at that guy. He forgot about the Celtics already.
Yeah, he did.
We reminded of him. No problem.
Josh Beckett's at the plate, and he takes a fastball right down the middle. Josh Johnson topping out at 96.
I don't think Josh Beckett really wanted to swing the bat there.
No. 96 is exactly where you want Josh Johnson to be. that's when his other pitches start to become that more effective.
He's right where he was in that last outing, and this is great to see because you go back early in the season, we didn't see that, but his last 7 starts, he's gone 3-1, and the last one was the most impressive with the velocity and the way he used his slider.
Scott Posednik apparently got to the plate with a broken bat. Our poll tonight brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Visit the Marlins homepage on foxsportsflorida.com and vote on tonight's poll question.
Hey, we were talking about Bonifacio, and Bonnie got the stitches out today. So progressing in his recovery.
Breaking ball. And it's 1-0. But I'm with you. I think he's got to go over and talk to Posednik about that little hand guard for sliding.
I hope we don't see it anymore. So that just means Posednik's on base.
A strike at the knees. And it's 2-1. Posednik was a lot like Raul Ibanez in that he was in Seattle's organization and couldn't get any playing time in left field and had to go somewhere else to get it. Pop up. Hanley reaching off his glove, and down goes Hanley. And let's hope he's okay. Hanley emerges with a nice effort. Darryl Cousins, the third base umpire, there to help him.
Well, the one good thing about this Marlins Park is the fact you have some leg room, so it's easy for Hanley to fit in there without hitting any of the seats.
Well, that's a good effort. I thought he was going to almost get this ball just off the end of the glove. Couldn't quite get there enough. Good effort, though, by Hanley.
Counts 2-2. Oh, there's that gorgeous slider that comes in at 91. Tommy, we focus so much on fastball speed with JJ. He was in the 92, 93 range to start the season. Now we're seeing 95, 96. That means the slider's starting to come in at 90, 91.
And it also means there's a little more separation in his fastball and his changeup.
So he has struck out the first 2 of the third. And here is Pedroia, who walked. Boy, if you watch the top of the first, it felt like the last 6 games for the Marlins. Posednik singled, stole second. Pedroia walked, and JJ's ball strike ratio was way out of whack. But he struck out Adrian Gonzalez. And remember, he fell behind Gonzalez 3-0.
Yes, he did, and battled all the way back. And that was a bat that sort of turned around that first inning. He got his confidence back and was able to end that inning without damage. But in the first inning, that's when you're going because you lose a few games and you're feeling down. And you start the game like that, it's always tough.
Well, he certainly has turned it around. A 1-2-3 third and a 4-0 Miami lead.
On Josh Beckett, the first time ever. The former Marlin first-round pick is facing the Fish. You have to go back almost 11 years to his major league debut. Came on September 4th of 2001. Beckett pitching. He looked quite young then against the Chicago Cubs. He got Sammy Sosa. He would get former Marlins manager Joe Girardi on a strikeout. Wound up going 6 innings, allowed just to hit no runs in a 8-1 Marlins victory. Took a pie 2 at the very end of the game. He also got a double in the game and scored his run in the game. And Preston Wilson, our very own Preston, hit a 3-run homer with Cliff Floyd scoring on that home run as the Marlins won that game. Beckett was only 21 years, 112 days old, and at the time became the 4th Marlin in his debut as a starter to win, joining A.J. Burnett, Brad Penny, and Jason Grilli. Guys, and Cliff, do you remember that day at all?
Of course I do. I remember Josh coming up and thinking, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be around forever and be dominant as ever, and has had some great games in his career. Accolades fall back on. So definitely remember those days, Craig.
5 years as a Marlin, and this is very first time facing the Marlins. Stan had a mean rip at a 2-0, and Beckett dumps one in the dirt, and it's 3-1.
Maybe that little blue base hit in the first inning gets Giancarlo back going again as he was in the month of May. He's so good once and he gets locked in and he loses a little bit, but it comes with maturity. As he gets better, more discipline will follow that, and he'll be more consistent.
A strike and a 3-2 count. Stanton's single came with 2 outs in the first. Logan Morrison then followed with a ball off the top of the wall in right, and Stanton scored. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Saltalamacchia, and the first out of the 3rd inning.
Been kind of fun talking about Josh Beckett as a youngster when he came up, and the Marlins had some pretty good pitchers, and we had some fun putting this together. Beckett, Burnett, and Brad Penny. Beckett with a couple of World Series, a no-hitter for AJ, World Series for Penny. He was 2-0. Look at the career earnings of those 3 guys. Woo. That's a lot of jingle.
Yes, it is.
Morrison bounces one to second. Pedroia backing up gets it and throws him out. And Beckett settling in here in the 3rd. Marlins got 3 in the first, 1 in the second. And their final run in the first came on a Gabby Sanchez RBI single. Sanchez, who rejoined the ball club yesterday, had an RBI double in the 4-2 loss to the Rays.
The other thing that Beckett has done recently in his last 5 starts, we told you his ERA has been in the low 2s, but he's gone 7 or more innings in each of those last 5 starts. So he is settled in better, and that's certainly what the Red Sox want to see.
Especially when you have a bullpen like the Red Sox have that's sort of beat up. You don't have Andrew Bailey, the closer. You just got Martin Melanson back in the lineup. Rich Hill goes down on the DL with shoulder tendonitis. So you got to beat up bullpen. You want to get your stars out there as much as you can.
Bobby Jenks has been on the DL as well.
A couple of people that I talked to today that follow the Red Sox on a daily basis told me that that's probably where Bobby Valentine over the last month has really done a nice job in piecing that bullpen together.
Sort of the whole team, huh? Piecing everything together, you know.
Here's the 1-1 to Gabby Sanchez. And one of those pieces is a former Marlin, Andrew Miller,
who's helping him out a lot.
Yes.
Those guys going down. But, it's always tough when you leave spring training, as we've got a look of Andrew Miller sitting there fully bearded up right there.
He's got that bullpen look.
Yeah, right. Got to be a little crazy being that bullpen. But when you have a team that's beat up out of spring training, it seems like everything goes haywire for first, and then you get everybody back on track. And that's the tough thing, is trying to get everybody back on track to understand that we still have a good team and we can still win some ball games. They're in last place. They're only 6 games out of first.
Here's the 1-2. And that's the hard thing for both the Red Sox and the Marlins. A week ago, if you checked in with both teams, the temperature was a lot different. Ozzie Guillen and the Marlins were tied for first. Bobby Valentine and the Red Sox were all of a sudden the much improved Boston Red Sox. Here's the 2-2. That breaking ball is popped up. Aviles makes the catch. Inning over, the first 1-2-3 for Beckett. Florida, brought to you by Bennett Auto Supply. Our prices bring you in and our people bring you back. By 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. The roof is open, and it is an absolutely drop-dead gorgeous night here in Miami. The humidity not too bad. A little breeze is swirling in the ballpark. The Red Sox are in town, opening a 3-game series against the Miami Marlins, and it's 4-0. Marlins on top. Adrian Gonzalez, David Ortiz, and Jared Saltalamacchia for the Red Sox against Josh Johnson, who struggled right out of the blocks, but got it together, got out of the first, and since then has been nails. And the strikeout of Gonzalez, as Cliff pointed out, was the key. He was 3-0 on Gonzalez with runners at first and second and nobody out.
There was that changeup, by the way, at 87. So you can see the difference as opposed to fastball being 91, now 95.
2-0 fastball ripped to right. Giancarlo is there. And he makes the catch. It's the 4th inning. That means the AT&T phone comes flipping on, and we do a little trivia. Who are the only 2 Red Sox to hit 50 or more homers in a season? Big Poppy.
Has he hit 50?
I got a bell.
See, a lot of us would like to say it, but I don't think he ever hit 50 because he walks so much. Ted Williams. So
right.
I'm not going to say. I didn't say it, so don't give me the buzzer.
Manny Ramirez?
I'm going to go with Manny.
Oh, you guys got 2 buzzers and I got a bell. Here's the old one. And a strike to Ortiz.
I'm going to get one more name. I'll just keep it at that. I'm probably definitely off. Jim Rice?
Here's the 0-2. And it's fouled at the plate.
Trying to think how far back we need to go on this.
Tony Conigliaro never got to 50.
He never got to 50. I don't think Rico Petrocelli got 50.
Fastball up. I guess we should ask, in what era?
John Valentin. I think we have to go back further. I think we're. I don't think we've gone back far enough. Yeah. How about
the Bambino? Didn't get loose until he got to New York, right?
Okay. How about the X-Man, Jimmy Fox?
Oh, very nice. That's like staying with a bad hop grounder there. 2-2 to Ortiz. He flied out back in the first. And he pulls that ground ball foul. Stays at 2-2. Ortiz with 14 homers. 4 have come in the last 10 games.
He's closing in, and he'll reach it this year. 400 home runs. He's at 392 right now.
He really has had a remarkable career for a guy that had trouble staying in the big leagues. I mean, Ortiz spent 4 seasons in the minor leagues with Seattle, was traded to the Twins for Dave Hollins. Look at the shift, and you can see Solano out in shallow right. Played parts of 6 years with the Twins and then was a free agent. The Twins essentially said, we don't think enough of you to keep you around. And so he shows up in Boston. This is his 10th year, and ever since he put on a Red Sox uniform, he has been dynamite.
He just gets it done.
Yeah, Rich, he's averaged in 9 years with the Red Sox 36 home runs. I could tell you all kinds of stats before this one comes down. And 114 RBIs.
You know, you saw Chris Coughlin looking up. This is not an easy. It's much easier to see the ball right now if the roof were closed. But
it's tough.
Yeah, Cliff, as an outfielder, right now is not a good time to be an outfielder.
No, it's not. And this is a time where you keep your eye on the ball out of JJ's hand all the way to contact and allow yourself to stay with that baseball and track it all the way. As we see Big Papi drop some bad words right there because he just missed that ball.
It's a good thing we didn't have Cookie and Raul on.
Hey, our crack staff, by the way, our crack staff informing us that and reminding us that in 1956 and 57, Jimmy Fox was the baseball coach at University of Miami. Wow. I did not know that.
Saltalamacchia with the count 1-1.
This is year I'm following baseball a lot more. And you see the shift played on a lot more guys. You see it with Big Papi a lot. Right there with Saltalamacchia. Reyes is playing up the middle.
Morrison makes the catch. JJ sails through. Cliff will continue when we return. Of Josh Beckett's career as a Marlin, 2003, Game 6. Marlins dealt Mike Lowell and Beckett to the Red Sox. They got Anibal Sanchez and Hanley Ramirez. That was after the 2005 season. The Marlins kept that World Series team together for 2 years, and then this deal was made, among others. You know, the interesting thing about the trade, number one, you forget that Anibal Sanchez was in it because Hanley and Beckett were the headliners. But Mike Lowell was almost seen as a salary dump at the time because, remember, Mike really struggled in 2005. He still had money on his contract. The Red Sox agreed to take that contract on. And what dividends he paid for Boston. Lowell would go on to lead that World Series team in 2007.
Perfect stadium, ballpark for Mike Lowell. That Green Monster, Mikey being a pull hitter, he took full advantage of that Green Monster and had a great end to his career as a Red Sox.
Chris Coughlin, John Buck, and Josh Johnson. They count 2-0. Josh Beckett right now wants a new baseball. Marlins have touched Beckett for 4 runs on 6 hits in just the 3 innings of work.
This has sort of been why Josh Beckett has struggled a little bit this season. Getting behind hitters a lot, having to use his fastball a little bit more than he normally has to. And it's been hurting him.
Coughlin sends it out to center. Brian Sweeney is out there. All right, to officially answer trivia, AT&T brings you the only 2 Red Sox to hit 50 or more in a season. It took a while, but we got there. David Ortiz, 54 in 06. And Double X, Jimmy Fox, in 1938.
Just to punctuate former Big Papi teammate Mike Lowell, in that 07 season for the Red Sox, he hit .324, 21 home runs, 120 RBIs, then went on to hit .400 in the World Series.
World Series MVP, right?
Yes. Buck fouls it back. John singled in the second. One ball, one strike. Jammed him, and he pops it out near the plate. Saltalamacchia makes the catch. There are 2 quick outs here in the 4th. If you've got a group and you want some VIP hospitality at Marlins Park, choose from a variety of unique group areas like the Fiesta Suites, the Bullpen Zone, the Clevelander, and the Budweiser Balcony. Enjoy air-conditioned comfort, great food options, and premium entertainment. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com today. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Cliff Floyd on a gorgeous night in Miami. The roof is open. The Red Sox are in town. Josh Johnson and the Marlins have a 4-0 lead. Another injury we haven't talked about, and that's Cody Ross. And there's a possibility that he will be off the disabled list when the Marlins get to Boston next week.
Yeah, Cody told us that in the clubhouse, that he expects to be playing and be ready to go. He's going to have a couple of minor league assignments, but he was hitting .271, 8 home runs, was off to a good start.
He will be an interesting guy to ask tomorrow or maybe on Wednesday. Just his thoughts on this ballpark after he's had 2 or 3 days to sit and watch games. Beckett has retired 7 straight. It's 4-0 Miami. Logan Morrison, yesterday against the Rays, 3 for 4, his 13th career 3-hit or more game. 5th time he's had a couple of doubles. The Marlins counting on Morrison. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop 4 foolproof results. And Morrison in this ball game delivered with a double, though at this point he does not have an RBI to show for it. There's the Subway 5th inning line score. Terrific look, the panoramic view of Marlins Park with the roof open. Remember, Adrian Gonzalez bobbled that ball when he got it off the wall, and Giancarlo Stanton scored all the way from first. Here's Euclid. Kevin Euclid takes a fastball for a strike. Euclid has battled injuries getting into the lineup. 3-time All-Star.
He battled some comments from his manager this year, too. Bobby Valentine talking about the shape that he thought Euclid was in.
Off of JJ's foot, Reyes barehands and throws on the run and gets him. Josh Johnson learned that from Mark Burley.
Well, JJ hung around Josh Beckett when he was a youngster. Now he's hanging around Mark Burley.
That's a tough play for Jose Reyes also. He barehands that ball and makes the accurate throw over to first base.
Looked like he got the backside of the heel. Reyes going up the middle because the initial movement was the ball was going up the middle. And it makes a perfect throw.
And a breaking ball for a strike to Ryan Sweeney. Sweeney singled back in the 2nd and then was picked off. We've already documented all the outfield injuries that the Red Sox have had, from Crawford to Ellsbury. We've even talked about Cody Ross, and that's opened the door for Sweeney to get playing time. The 27-year-old out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Originally a Chicago White Sox draft pick and a guy that played for Ozzie Guillen before he was traded to the Oakland Athletics with Gio Gonzalez. One of the many times Gio Gonzalez was traded. They were traded together to Oakland for Nick Swisher.
Well, I tell you what, JJ has got it all going right now. He threw Sweeney some perfect pitches. That one a perfect slider that he just got out of the back door. It was borderline. He threw a nice cutter, a 2-seamer to him. He's got the fastball alive. Got a great play.
You said it in his last start. You said this is the Josh Johnson that was 2010, that led the National League in ERA, or even his first 8 starts of last year. The ability to finish hitters.
96, that last fastball.
That's what it's about. Can you finish guys when you get opportunity to finish them?
Aviles up the middle. Reyes guns him out. And Josh Johnson cruising right now with a 4-0 lead. Jose enjoying a birthday. Marlins Park, Rich Waltz, Tommy Hunt, and Cliff Floyd. World's most dangerous tape room, providing some mid-game entertainment. Bottom of the fifth, the Subway fifth inning. 4-0, Marlins on top. The battle of the Joshes. Josh Beckett, Josh Johnson, and here is Reyes, who takes inside.
You know, we've talked about that 1999 draft when the Marlins chose Beckett second, the first overall pick. He's doing pretty well too. Josh Hamilton.
Yes, he is.
It took him a while, and some thought he would never get to the big leagues.
And the interesting thought, and I've talked to the whole Marlins group, was different back then. It wasn't the Jeffrey Loria ownership group. It wasn't Larry Beinfest. But I've talked to those people, and had Beckett been taken first, certainly the Marlins would have chosen Josh Hamilton.
Jose Reyes takes a strike on his 29th birthday. Jose Reyes.
Yeah, he getting old, huh?
Tripled in the first, bounced out in the second. Beckett dodged the corner on the 3-1 pitch. Counts full now at 3-2.
Yeah, Reyes with his 4th triple of the season.
Trying to get something going in the bottom of the fifth. Beckett fires a little inside-out swing. Euclid so good on either side of the diamond, and he throws him out. Marlins Park, certainly a jewel tonight, and of course home for the Miami Marlins, as well as concerts, international sporting events. Marlins Park is also available for booking, including weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, trade shows, conventions, and events of all sizes. For booking information, call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com.
And as we found out recently, high school graduations.
With the vice president here. Who spoke at your high school graduation? Certainly not.
I think the only people we had speak were the valedictorian. It wasn't a special guest like the vice president.
(0-2) to Donovan Solano, who's had a terrific night tonight. Sacrifice fly driving in Reyes in the first. An RBI single in the second. And a line drive hits it on the nose. Euclid makes the stop. Well, Solano's had 3 quality at-bats.
Keep making it hard for Ozzie, keep him out of that lineup. Keep swinging the bat. Offense doesn't come around like they should. He'll get more playing time.
He'll find himself in the lineup, I'm sure, Wednesday night. Felix Doubront, left-hander, pitching for the Red Sox. Clay Buchholz, righty, goes tomorrow night.
Hanley Ramirez, left center field. Ball's hit pretty well. It's good speed out there with Posednik and Sweeney, and Posednik makes the running catch. And Beckett goes 1-2-3. He's set down 10 in a row. greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Tuesday, July 10th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Here tonight in Miami, the roof to Marlins Park is wide open. Very comfortable night. The humidity is down. They opened the roof about 20 minutes before first pitch. Josh Johnson threw that first pitch, and he was in trouble from the get-go as Beckett takes a strike. Johnson had runners first and second, and he fell behind Adrian Gonzalez 3-0, and it looked like it was all unraveling before the game was even rolling. But he struck out Gonzalez. He got out of that inning, and the Marlins jumped on Beckett for 3 runs in the first, added 1 in the second, and here in the top of the 6th, it's 4-0. Beckett didn't even care about the appeal. I don't even think he did swing. He didn't even care about the appeal. He said, you know what? I'm just headed to the dugout.
Good enough for me.
What?
That'll work.
Yeah, I think the roof, Rich, was opened up, and Cliff, I think, to accommodate the many who have come down from Red Sox Nation.
Yes.
To enjoy this game.
A little something to see other than a dome, beautiful skyline.
You know, Red Sox Nation travels everywhere. I mean, it's not just to places like Tampa Bay.
Doesn't matter.
St. Pete.
I play there.
And here, it's everywhere, isn't it?
Everywhere. And they come out in droves. BP, you would think you're at home.
Oakland, Seattle.
Doesn't matter.
Anaheim on the West Coast.
Hotel is packed everywhere you go.
Up the middle. And Scott Pasednik continues to swing the bat well.
Start playing the shift on him.
Pasednik with his second hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 3. Corona Light wants you to find your beach this summer with the Marlins. Corona Light's offering 6 lucky Marlin fans the chance to win 4 tickets in a Fiesta suite for an upcoming game at Marlins Park. Just go to your local participating retailer and look for the Corona Light display for details on how to enter and win. Relax responsibly. Now Pedroia, who has walked and popped out, and you've got speed at first. Pasednik stole second. Back in the first, and he's got that contraption on his left hand again. It's a strike. As we saw, the one thing you can't do with it, when he did steal the bag, as he slid into second, he could not grab the bag.
That almost looks like it could be a weapon, too.
It's probably
dangerous.
Illegal in the NFL.
For sure.
But he's certainly illegal amongst the TSA.
You're right. It's a good thing it was a charter. Pedroia swings and misses. Now watch as he slides across the bag. A lot of base stealers will grab the bag with his hand. Instead, he can't grab it. He has to get the foot on. And that's close.
And he's done that before. That's the way he slides in. So you know he has that down pat.
See, somewhere right now, someone is out in their garage trying to make one of those and start to sell it online.
Patent pending, right?
It's like it slides right over the batting glove.
They're right over the, it's right over the glove. So he has that. Pedroia has his right thumb protected a little bit.
Fly ball down the right field line. Stanton coming over towards the wall. And it's into the seats. Jason Varitek there almost made the play. Or someone wearing a very large Jason Varitek jersey up there in the seats.
Since the first, Josh has settled down a little bit, into a good rhythm. Velocity stayed up. Slider has been where he wants to throw it. Good to see.
Pedroia, there's the laser show to left. After it is Morrison. Racing for third is Posednik. And he'll be held right there. Reyes with the cut. Pedroia with an RBI, or with a double. He may have been thinking RBI double, especially with Posednik's speed. Morrison did a nice job to get it off the wall and get it in.
Well, like I said earlier, when you're a 305 career hitter, you know sooner or later the average is going to go up. Pedroia came into the game hitting 277, and that's him right there. That's the way he hits the ball.
Senator was digging. He had thoughts of scoring on that play right there. Still can run.
But with
still gets it in.
Just one out and some big hitters coming up. Big hitters coming up, and good friend Jerry Royster, third base coach for the Red Sox, putting the brakes on Posednik.
Yeah, it was a good play by Lomo to get that ball in quickly. He knows who's running. That's being in tune with the game.
Adrian Gonzalez is struck out, lined out. Elevates the fastball. And it's 0-2.
Boy, a couple of choices now for JJ to put away Adrian Gonzalez. He can go back up a little further up with the fastball, or he can drop that hard slider down and in out of the zone. He doesn't have to throw a pitch in the strike zone, at least for one or two.
I would like to see that slider down and in. It's a tough pitch to hit. It's coming down in, it's bearing in on your hands. Make you think a little bit. You think you can hit it. It darts out of the strike zone.
Gonzalez in his second year with Boston after 5 in San Diego. 5 big years in San Diego. 0-2 coming. Pulls the ground ball.
It was the slider, but I don't think it was where he wanted it. Got away with it.
But if you throw it in, most lefties are going to pull that ball, especially when you're trying to. You thinking fastball, but once it's barreling in on you, you have no other choice but to pull your hands in. You usually pull it foul.
Another 0-2 pitch. And it's 1-2. A lot of people thought when Adrian Gonzalez got out of San Diego, his home run numbers would go up, but they actually went down last year. He hit 27. He had hit 31, 40, 36, and 30 the previous years in San Diego.
And I thought he would be a more of a doubles guy. In that ballpark. He did hit 45 doubles last year, and that's the type of park is really deep in right center. Down the line, of course, they have the pesky pole. But that monster is going to stop a few of his fly balls. Even though he is a fly ball type of hitter, that monster, he hits a lot of balls off that wall, which would probably be home runs and more ballparks.
It's funny. I think the perception is that the Green Monster, you can hit a lot of home runs, but I think it takes away home runs on guys who are line drive type hitters.
Definitely agree with you.
Outfield is playing Gonzalez towards left center. The 1-2. Buck smothers it. Red Sox threatening here with Posednik, the runner at third base. Pedroia followed his single with a double. Bobby Valentine, 62 years old.
This might be a time where with Johnson's fastball velocity up tonight, we could elevate a fastball right here and get Gonzo chasing.
Looked like a bad slider at 91, and now the count's full, 3-2.
You saw the shot of Bobby Valentine next to Valentine, the Red Sox hitting coach Dave Magadan. Remember the '93 inaugural season for the Marlins, teammate of Niners.
(3-2). They've got a couple of original Marlins, don't they? Bob McClure.
Yeah, Bob McClure, the pitching coach.
I think McClure was a teammate of Magadan's on that '93 team. Of course, we'd have to go to Jeff Conine for that.
And he was. Appeared in 14 games. There's Mags.
3-2. Left field. Morrison back at the track. It should score a run, and it will. Pasednik scores. Pedroia had gone halfway, and he returns to second. And Adrian Gonzalez knocks in his 33rd run of the season. Boston is on the board.
That's when you're Adrian Gonzalez and you're thinking where that would have been at Fenway.
Off the wall.
No, that might have been over the wall.
That have been over?
I think that would have been over. That would have been in those monster seats.
Something.
Pasednik really has been a nice spark plug at the top of the lineup in this one.
Hard to find guys like him, especially when you're struggling. You're looking for somebody to give you a little spark at the top. And he was the right fix for that team at the right time.
Now Ortiz in an RBI spot with Pedroia out at second. The Marlins in that extreme shift. Solano out in shallow right field. Nissan leaders of the game. Extra base hits. Ortiz behind Josh Hamilton by a couple. And Ortiz calls time. 6 times David Ortiz has won the Edgar Martinez Award, which is awarded to the top designated hitter. High fly ball. Coughlin, a little easier to see now in the dark Miami sky, and he makes the catch. Boston's on the board. JJ's still in the game, and it's a 4-1 Miami lead.
To the bottom of the 6th, one of the great Red Sox, great pitchers of all time, Luis Tiant, won 229 games in his career, struck out over 2,400 guys, had almost 200 complete games, 187. He joins us now, the Cuban right-hander. It was so exciting to watch. Where'd your delivery come from, Luis? Was that something that you developed as a kid or developed it in the major leagues to deceive the hitter?
I developed them in 1972 in Boston. And I work, I start doing and work, and I win 172 games after I do that. It really worked for me. But I just try. I come off with the injury. I cracked my shoulder blade in Minnesota in 1970. Then in 72, that's when I come out with the new delivery. It worked.
So many kids impersonating that. I know, even me playing wiffle ball. We all, and what a tribute to you. You still live in Boston, 38 years now, and when you went back as a Yankee, you thought you'd be booed. That didn't happen.
No. People show me respect. People show me love. and they still love me in Boston, you know. And like I say, that happened, but they really never should happen. But it happened, you know. And then you have to go where they want you, and that's what I did. The guys in Boston in those years, they don't want to do a deal with me. And then I said, okay, you know, George, that's the only thing they got me on the
Yankees, George Steinbrenner.
Yeah, that's the only thing they got me. And I go over there, you know, and then when we go to Boston and play against Boston, first time, you know, I thought people boo me and whatever. No, the people, like when I get out from the right field, from the bullpen, you know, people stand up and cheer Louis, and clap, you know, and it really helped me. It really made me feel great.
Probably why you still live there. All right, Luis is in town. I don't know if you see this book here, Fenway Park, 100 Years, and he'll be signing at Barnes & Noble in Coral Gables on Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. It's a wonderful book. It's great visiting with you. You're one of the greats all time, and you want to see a great documentary on Luis going back home to Cuba. I saw it recently. I think it was on ESPN. It was wonderful. Good to see you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in the show.
The great Luis Tiant. There was no one ever like him, guys. Let's go back to you.
What a cool guy.
That is great.
Yeah.
8 years with the Red Sox. By the way, the year he went to the Yankees, he won 13 games. He was 38 years old that first year with the Yankees.
Josh Johnson in the dugout trying to stay hydrated right now. Johnson's at 97 pitches with a 4-1 lead in the bottom of the sixth. Gabby Sanchez takes in. Josh Beckett certainly was unsteady in the first 2 innings, but since then, he's been lights out.
By the way, Rich, I'll probably get totally off track here, but with Luis Tiant, you look at his career record. You and I the other night when Tim Hudson was pitching, we were talking about Hudson down the road if he wins a few more games. It also brought to mind an Andy Pettit who falls in that category. I know in my conversations with Cookie, Luis Tiant has Hall of Fame credentials, and he's not there.
Point well taken. On to the 7th. JJ returns. 4-1 Miami. It's been vintage Josh Johnson, a 4-1 lead for the Marlins. 6 innings, 4 hits, a run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. Your pitcher comparison, Beckett has stayed in there, has a lower pitch count through his 6 innings, but the Marlins jumped him for 4 early runs. Beckett hasn't walked anybody, and he has 3 strikeouts. And Johnson goes to work in the top of the 7th. Jared Saltalamacchia, Kevin Youkilis, and Ryan Sweeney Marlins on top, and this is a real different feel for the ball club, who in that 6-game losing streak fell behind early and often. And as Tommy Hutton pointed out early in the telecast, one of the strengths of the Red Sox has been their bullpen. And if you can stay out of that bullpen in a late game situation, you're a better team for it.
When JJ still throwing hard. You know, we mentioned the last time Saltalamacchia was up there. A lot of friends and family down from Royal Palm, went to Royal Palm High School.
0-2, breaking ball. Stanton got a late break, and he makes the catch. Giancarlo seemed to, I don't know if it was lose it in the lights or maybe lose it off the bat, because initially he didn't break at all.
I would say the lights. And once in a while the ball gets in those lights and makes you, you freeze like a deer in headlights, and then you pick up the ball and try to, hopefully it's right at you, which what that ball was right at Giancarlo in that situation.
And because the lights here are adjusted for baseball, we haven't seen that too often.
Yeah, the lights at Sun Life were brutal.
Oh, yeah, they were.
I lost plenty, and I missed them when I lost.
Euclid barking at home plate umpire Ron Kulpa. And Bobby Valentine right now is on him too. Valentine has made headlines not only yesterday but also today about home plate umpiring. That one fouled into the glove of John Buck. Valentine today came out and made strong statements saying that he is all for electronic balls and strikes. And that,
yeah, but then who would he argue with?
That's
great point. Huh?
That'd take the fun out of the game for Bobby P.
I love the umpires behind the plate.
Well, all the arguing didn't get him anywhere yesterday. Here's the 1-2. And it's 2-2. Euclid and then Ryan Sweeney, one out here in the 7th. Euclid will call timeout. Marlins and Red Sox in game 1 of this 3-game set. Breaking ball misses low. This was yesterday. Similar spot, but this time he was tossed. Coughlin is there.
Here's the biggest difference in JJ the last few starts. When he's had a situation where a hitter knows he has to throw the fastball, scores 4-1, it's a 3-2 pitch, he's been able to get in on guys because he's had that little extra.
That's huge. And you look at that about with Euclid right there. JJ, good rhythm. Steps out, try to disrupt that. Anything, when a pitcher's feeling good, anything you can do to disrupt that is always something that Dave Maggins probably telling his guys to, disrupt his rhythm, get into his head a little bit, try to mess with him.
Here's something that's not quantified in miles per hour or even a statistic. He just looks, the look in his eye right now, Tommy, is very different from the look we've seen at the start of this season.
I think at the start of the year, he was unsure. He wasn't sure of himself how things were going to play out, how the shoulder would hold up, how his velocity would be, how his other pitches would be, because he hadn't pitched a whole lot.
And fellas, to add to that, I mean, not just with JJ, but Adam Wainwright, guys that's coming back from, off-season injuries. JJ had opportunity, to get healthy and come back this year, but it's just not that easy to go back on the bump and just, be consistently good every time out. And I think he's worked himself back into a good position right now, and it's good to see.
Sweeney fouls it off. Ryan Sweeney is singled and struck out. Randy Choate is up in the Miami bullpen. 2-2 coming. The Red Sox center fielder Ryan Sweeney.
And the one thing you want from JJ is you want innings. You want him to be able to go out there and give you 7 strong, 8 strong. And this is also good for him in terms of his psyche. Roof is open. He's dealing with the elements. Things like that, definitely helps you out as you're trying to get your confidence back moving forward.
You said it before the game, Cliff. The way you stop a losing streak is with your ace on the mound going out and sticking it in someone's ear.
He has to be that guy.
Not literally.
No. we do not advocate that.
We don't want to get in trouble with the commissioner's
Exactly.
office.
But he has to be that guy. Everybody else falls into place when JJ is the ace of the staff. And it goes as in with the order and everything else. When guys like Reyes, is in the lineup, when you don't have Bonifacio, you see guys have to move around and move up. The same with the starting rotation. If JJ is not the guy, everybody else is feeling the pressure, trying to take that pressure off of him and add it to themselves, and that's why you have the inconsistency in terms of the pitch lines.
This is a pretty good at bat by Ryan Sweeney. He's fouled off some good pitches that Josh has thrown up there.
Sweeney's an interesting hitter. He's a guy he's got close to 1,600 at bats, and he does not have a lot of home runs. And he goes after a nasty slide. Wow. JJ finishes Sweeney to finish the 7th. Coming up, the latest installment of Inside the Marlins. The Starters. It premieres tonight after Marlins Live. Frank Fort, your Inside the Marlins host, will chronicle the exploits of the 5 starters. What goes on between starts, what goes on during a start. And that is tonight after Marlins Live. Beckett with a fastball strike.
Boy, Rich and Cliff, Josh Beckett, since the Marlins gave him a little trouble in the first inning, he's retired 13 straight. The only hit since that first inning was a second inning RBI single by Solano.
And the one good thing he's doing now, that he didn't do in the first, is locating his fastball. His fastball's been middle away, down in the zone, and the Marlin hitters, it's pretty much unhittable pitch. Not even swinging.
0-2 to Coughlin. That's unhittable. And that's a strikeout for Beckett. Up comes John Buck. Up comes the Tico standings. In the National League East, the Marlins' 6-game losing streak has cost them dearly. From first place to 5 games out. And the Washington Nationals have a 4-1 lead at the Rogers Center against the Blue Jays. That's in the 6th. The Braves are trailing the Yankees 3-0. That's in the top of the 6th. Buck singled, popped out.
I'm going to tell you something. The Marlins are lucky they got a couple runs in the first. If he's throwing that curveball over as he did right there, that first pitch strike, it'd be a long night for the Marlins. They didn't get those runs early.
And Beckett's pitch count much lower than Josh Johnson's. JJ at 116, and he's coming out of the ball game, whereas Beckett is living right now at 84.
Beckett is due up second, though, in the 8th inning. But I think Bobby Valentine, Red Sox fans, Bob McClure, the pitching coach, I think they can feel good about the way Beckett is pitching tonight, and also about the way he's pitched the last 5 or 6 outings now.
Yeah, he's given them innings. His last start in Baltimore, 2 runs. That was late. You know, keeping them in ball games, and that's the Josh Beckett that you've become accustomed to seeing. You know, not the one that you saw early in the season when he was going out and getting shelled, you know, early in the game, hitting the bullpen, not sure himself, made some, you know, comments about the golfing on his off day and things like that. That, you know, that was out of frustration, I know, but, you know, he still wasn't pitching good. Now he's back to pitching effectively and giving him a chance to win games and keeping him in ball games. At least give him a chance.
Well, John Buck snaps the streak of retired hitters. Beckett had piled up 14 in a row. Buck walks. The pitcher spot due up now for Miami, and it's Justin Ruggiano who steps in. Ruggiano plucked by the Marlins from the Astros AAA team. Ruggiano, big league time with the Rays, was absolutely tearing up the Pacific Coast League.
Yeah, I saw him with the Rays. Struggled a little bit with the Rays, couldn't find himself. Hard to find playing time when you have BJ up to the Carl Crawford in the outfield.
Yeah, it is.
You know, but found his way back to the big leagues and been a nice piece, a nice addition to this Marlins team.
And the Marlins had identified that in the offseason. They talked to Ruggiano about coming into spring training as a non-roster invite to try and make the team. And it came down for Ruggiano between Houston and Miami. He saw Houston as having more of a need because they had young guys out there, but J.D. Martinez, a local product, had a great spring and a great start, and Ruggiano was simply tearing it up in AAA. And the Marlins made the trade for him, and he's really contributed off the bench. Here's the 2-0.
Yeah, I guess if I'm him and I look at the spring training, I got the Houston Astros and the Miami Marlins. I go Astros also. Even though they rebuilding, you still look at that outfield and say, maybe I won't play every day over Schaefer and J.D. Martinez, but I'll get a chance to get in there and get some at-bats. And you got a short porch and left, could benefit from him, but he found his, like I say, found his way back, and it's good to see him produce.
Beckett splits the plate.
By the way, J.D. Martinez, one of our favorites, Altuve, Maxwell, and Brett Wallace all homered last night for the Astros.
I talked to J.D. Martinez in spring training. What a confident young man he is.
Yes, we saw him when he came through here, and he had a great series. Ruggiano takes a cut, fouls it back. I had a chance to sit down with Jose Altuve when we were in Houston, and what a fun guy he is. 5'5".
Yeah, you know, Rich, and you hear so many parents talk about their kids going, well, you know, my son is so small, and I say, so what? Keep him playing. I mean, Jose Altuve is a great example. 5'5", and he hustles and he plays the game hard. I love David Eckstein. I love those guys because all odds against them, and they go out there and just get it done.
That was Altuve's hero when he was coming up in the minors. Eckstein. He was. He told me as Ruggiano flips that one foul. You saw Melanson warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. Pedroia and Eckstein were the two guys that Altuve watched once he signed a professional contract, because he saw that those guys not only could hit, Pedroia an MVP, Eckstein a World Series MVP.
Yeah, who will go? Go figure, right?
Throw to first. 1 out, full count, and the Buck is at first. We'll see if Ozzie Guillen's in a gambling mood here.
He was running on the last pitch. I don't know if he's willing to gamble again. We'll see.
He is running. And Ruggiano fouls it back.
See, I've always thought that's a good play because the hitter knows that he's running. And it really makes the hitter concentrate because you know John Buck's a runner.
Yes.
And if I strike out, if I swing through this, it could be a double play. So I've got to make contact. So it puts a little more pressure on that hitter.
You know, some managers are a little reluctant from a right-handed hitter standpoint because that right-handed guy sees him running. But I still like the play, Hut.
See if he's going again. Beckett chases him back.
He goes one more time. He may want that Podsednik hand thing.
The platypus. We got to find a name for that. We got to go down and talk to Scott. And find out what he calls that.
We'll find
thing.
out tomorrow.
Buck's running again. 3-2. Pulled foul, and John Buck's thinking this base stealing stuff not easy.
It's for the birds. I used to hate that, especially when I played for the Marlins and we played over at the old stadium, and it'd be a day game and you get the 3-2 count and you run, and it's like timeout.
Now the smile tells me he's going again.
He's not running. And Ruggiano strikes out. That may have thrown Ruggiano off. He was expecting movement.
Look at Hunty going, yeah. See? That's why he didn't send you that time.
Nice. Now Reyes. Pulls a ground ball. Pedroia over, flips it to first. And Beckett gets through 7. Miami has the lead over Boston 4-1. We'll bring you up to speed with the JM Lexus game reset. Miami getting 3 runs in the first and 1 in the second in the battle of Joshes. The Josh that pitched the Marlins to a world championship and the Josh that the Marlins hope will get them back to the World Series. And Josh Johnson retired 11 in a row at one point. Josh Beckett 14 in a row at one point. Josh Johnson exits the game here. And out of the bullpen, a guy that grew up rooting for the Red Sox, and I know is really looking forward to the trip up to Fenway Park next week, and that's Steve Cishek.
Without question. He's looking forward to that. He's also looking forward, I think, Rich, to getting back in to the rhythm he was in early in the year. He's had a couple of outings where he's given up a run, and he hasn't quite had this consistency that he had. Even though the numbers look very good, that's because his numbers were unbelievable before. I think the whole thing with Cishek is Ruggiano stays in the game and goes into left. The whole thing with Cishek is not to get that breaking ball too flat with the delivery that he has.
Micah Vilas leads it off for the Red Sox, and Cishek delivers up. Avilas pulls it. Hanley gets a nice big hop and fires it across in time. So Cishek getting a ground ball out to start the 8th. And the Red Sox going to their bench. Nick Punto is coming up. Enjoying your favorite ballpark food and drink has never been easier. Just download the free MLB.com at the ballpark app for your iPhone or Android phone. Select Marlins Park and you're ready to go. Go to Marlins.com and download at the ballpark now. You even get a text message when your food is ready. Here is Punto, and we were talking earlier about Donovan Solano not getting an opportunity to play in St. Louis. And one of the guys that was there last year was Nick Punto.
Very solid year. He had a nice 7-year run with the Twins.
Always giving you a professional at bat. Good defender. Runs the bases well.
And he's a historian of the game. He got permission from Nomar Garciaparra to wear number 5.
Wow. You're right. Didn't know that.
Permission granted, huh?
Yeah, permission granted. He's wearing number 5.
And Punto strikes out. A very brief appearance. Cishek has the first 2 outs. Here comes Posednik. The next Corona Light Marlins watch party Saturday, June 16th at Scotty's Landing in Coconut Grove. Marlins and Rays at 7:15. Win prizes, meet Billy and the Energy team, take advantage of Corona and Corona Light specials throughout the game. Marlins baseball on a Saturday night from St. Pete. Posednik has a couple of hits, a stolen base, and has scored the only run for the Red Sox.
Now, Cliff, they have those watch parties when the team's on the road. Rich and I are never able to go. Do they invite you to the watch party? You get to go?
Haven't been to a watch party.
Oh. You can get Cliff to a watch party.
See, then we can add his name to the. It can be Meet Billy,
right?
The Energy team, and Cliff.
I like the sound of
You
that.
like that?
Yeah.
Here's the 1-1. It's fouled back.
You know, with Cishek, I mean, now that Heath Bell is back on track, well, it seems like he's back on track, he can now worry about, you know, the 8th inning and having his role. And I think that's important for him in terms of his growth and getting better each and every time he steps out there on the mound.
The 1-2. Posednik has 3 hits. He looks solid at the plate. This looks like Posednik from back in 2005 when Ozzie Guillen was managing him with the White Sox. He had a very good postseason in that run to the World Championship.
Always giving you a good at bat. Always just been that annoying little hitter at the plate. Foul balls off, get a pitch, slap it around a little bit, and use the speed.
Yeah, and another annoying hitter coming up, Pedroia,
who was walked, popped out, and doubled. There's not much that this guy has not already accomplished in the game. 2 Gold Gloves, won his 2nd last year. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2007, the World Championship year. So he has a World Series ring. The next year, he was the American League Most Valuable Player.
Well, he had an incredible year that year, hitting over 320.
54 doubles, 213 hits.
Wow.
Oh, 0-2. It is one of the things that it used to be sacred about the World Series, in that guys would be seeing pitchers for the first time from the American League, the National League. Not so much now with interleague play, but with a young pitcher like Cishek, the Red Sox have not seen him. And Cishek is one of those guys, you can watch all the video on him, but standing in there, guys, and seeing it for real is very different.
Definitely is. And all you're going by is scouting reports. That's all you got. Scouting reports and videos. And until you step in that batter's box and face it for real, that's all you can hang your hat on. And it's tough. Seeing guys for the first time.
Posednik at first. 1-2. Pedroia watched that ball all the way to the outside part, and it was way out. Warren Henry bringing you Fox Tracks tonight.
Flip, that'd be like you as a lefty facing Brian Fuentes for the first time.
Exactly. Having no clue, and that thing's coming from, you know, that angle outside behind my back. Give me a hard time.
Fastball, a little tapper, tough play. Hanley on the move. Got him. He's out. Pedroia doesn't like it. He looks to the dugout for Bobby Valentine, and Valentine doesn't budge. And now Pedroia going nose to nose with DJ Rayburn. In the top of the eighth, Josh Johnson, the starting pitcher, down below with Craig Minervini.
Josh, terrific game. How big was the out on Gonzalez when the first two guys reached base and you were 3-0 on him? When I managed to get him out?
Huge. You know, that's what kind of got me in a rhythm. Found my tempo, and you know, everything just kind of clicked from there.
You had 10 balls in the outfield. It seemed like you pitched to the park terrifically tonight. Did the roof open change anything in your opinion?
No. It kind of surprised me there. I'm stretching to get ready for the game, and then it starts opening. I'm like, are they going to do this right now? You know, kind of getting ready for it to be closed, but you know, either way, it's fine. Velocity,
locale, put away outs. Which one of those are you impressed with the most if you had to rank them?
Probably just making pitches when I need to. You know, the location is much better, more consistent. You know, that's huge for me. And you know, as long as I can keep doing that and just kind of keep it rolling, then I'll be fine.
I know you don't put pressure on yourself, but obviously a game where you wanted to come out and set the tone for your team.
Absolutely. You know, we need to win. I just need to break this streak and then get on the W side and then roll from there.
Thanks, JJ.
Thank you.
Nice to hear from Josh Johnson with 7 innings. With 7 strikeouts and a walk. Mark Melanson, the right-hander, enters for the Red Sox, and he takes over for Josh Beckett. He went 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, and a guy that knocked in a couple of those runs is at the plate. Donovan Solano with the numbers for Melanson.
Boy, they are not pretty, and that was all early. He was sent down, just got back with the club in 2 innings, gave up 5 home runs.
Solano sends that one out to center field. Sweeney's out there and he makes the catch.
Was that a 49.50 ERA?
It was, but it just went down like 10 points with that out.
Some things you just don't see.
Every night we see the Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight player. Back in 2000, Hanley was signed by the Red Sox. Got in a few ball games at the end of 05, and of course was a key for the Marlins to get back in the Josh Beckett trade, with Mike Lowell going up there as well. Anibal Sanchez coming with Hanley from the Red Sox.
Yeah, Hanley making his major league debut back on September 20th, 2005.
Heath Bell in the bullpen. Oh, 1 from Melanson.
Outside.
And it's outside. Melanson acquired from Houston Jed Lowry, shortstop. The piece that went from Boston to Houston. He's getting a lot of playing time with the Astros. Hanley fell over. Melanson lunges for it and throws him out. Kind of an awkward swing. And there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Toyota trend. The 45 managers in Boston Red Sox history, 11 are in the Hall of Fame. Who's the most recent Red Sox manager to be in the Hall of Fame? The guy that has there been anyone in recent years that is in the Hall of Fame that has managed the Red Sox?
I'm thinking of remember the Joe Morgan, the manager.
Yes.
Joe Morgan. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
His namesake is in there.
Yeah, maybe that's one of the answers.
Maybe that tripped
it's a trick question.
Chopper up the middle. Pedroia. Nice catch and tap of the bag by Big Papi. And a terrific play by Dustin Pedroia. 4-1 Miami. Here comes Heath Bell. In downtown Miami, not too hot, not too humid, little bit of a breeze, and a 4-1 Miami lead. Logan Morrison with the Warren Henry drive of the game. A little bobble in the outfield. Giancarlo Stanton would score. And the Marlins jumped on Josh Beckett early. 3 runs in the first. They added 1 in the second. Josh Johnson and Steve Cishek have delivered the game now to Heath Bell in the 9th.
Well, there's one thing about losing 6 in a row. it doesn't give your closer too many opportunities. Heath Bell did pitch in a game the other night, but the last time he picked up a save was that last game in Philadelphia. And they win against the Phillies. Carlos Zambrano win over Joe Blanton.
Sometimes those those non-save opportunities can hurt you because you go out there with the no adrenaline rush and you get into some trouble and you're back in that funk again. So hope he comes out pumping strikes and give himself a chance early in these counts.
And he's got some big boppers coming up.
No kidding. Adrian Gonzalez, David Ortiz, Jared Saltalamacchia, and if anyone reaches, Kevin Youkilis. And so Bell and Gonzalez, teammates in San Diego, square off here. Fastball for strike one. JJ went 7, a run on 4 hits, 7 strikeouts. Cishek handled the 8th. Gonzalez drove in the only run for the Red Sox, a sacrifice fly in the 6th. By the way, we were perusing the Red Sox media guide looking for the most recent Red Sox manager to be a Hall of Famer, and Cliff, I think, hit upon him with a Dick Williams, late 60s.
Not gonna pat myself on the back, but
that's a good one. I should have known that. I played for Dick Williams up in Montreal. Nice going, Cliff.
Thanks. You know, I mean, every once in a while you gotta get lucky, right?
Bell now with the count 2-1. And that one goes all the way to the screen. So he's 3-1 on Adrian Gonzalez. Ozzie Guillen has done a nice job of rehabilitating Bell without totally demoting him. There were times where he brought guys in to bail him out, but he kept on putting him in save spots. Here, he walks Gonzalez. This is game 1. Tomorrow night, game 2. Clay Buchholz, Mark Burley. Tomorrow night, Marlins Live. That's brought to you by Chevron. Marlins Live at 6:30. Leadoff walk. Here's Ortiz. You got Saltalamacchia right behind. The Red Sox trying to come from behind. The Marlins trying to shut the door. Little looper down the left field line. It's twisting and it's foul.
You know, Rich, back to Bell. I think the one thing that, you know, when you say, you know, how Ozzie handled him early on, I think that was the right way to handle him, because you know you're going to need Heath Bell. He needs to be out there consistently. He never threw him under the bus. He never said that, you know, he was demoting him. He said he needs him to go out there and get out. That's what he's paid to do. But I like how he handled him, and I think Heath Bell has gained a lot of confidence from that.
Bell misses up, and Tommy, if there was one signature pitch during Bell's struggles, it was the high fastball.
That got him in trouble, but it also was a fastball that we didn't see 95, 96. It was more 93 at that time.
Check swing, and the count now 1-2.
I think we've seen a little better command in his curveball.
That's what I want to see a little bit more of. His curveball, I want to see. And when he's in trouble, you know, go to the pitch that you feel uncomfortable with. Don't just throw the fastball up there because you know you have to. If your curveball is working, continue throwing that pitch. Don't try to get a feel for a pitch because you know you need it. If you get outs with one pitch, you got to stick with what you're doing.
We have terrific audio here at Marlins Park. So much so that on occasion we pick something up that
hope my kids are asleep.
We wish that you had not heard. So on behalf of our audio department and David Ortiz, we apologize.
We congratulate our audio department.
They've been awarded many times over. Awarded and rewarded. There's that breaking ball, and it's in the dirt, and Ortiz works the count to 2-2.
Now, if he can consistently throw that pitch right there over the plate, he will be what he once was a couple years ago, because guys then, when you talk about the fastball being 95, 96, will just swing at that pitch because they're all balanced and they're not thinking he's going to throw it in that situation.
Bell to the back of the mound. The count's 2-2. 4-1 Miami. A leadoff walk to that man, Adrian Gonzalez. Bell ready. And the 2-2. Right down the middle.
Well, that's a great pitch. Fastball. I'm not sure what Big Papi was looking for, but right down Calle Ocho. Right down the middle.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe that curveball set him up for that fastball or changeup, huh? It was 87.
It's almost a batting practice fastball.
Yeah, that's his changeup. That's a pitch that, again, early in the year, he didn't allow him. He might have tried it, but he didn't get in a situation to use it.
And you have that's the one thing you have to do, be able to use all your pitches. And that's a weird instance right there. Ball in the dirt, and Adrian Gonzalez is still at first base. Goes all the way back to the fish tank. Wow.
Jared Saltalamacchia, the hitter. Gonzalez may have lost sight of that ball, although hard to see how.
Sight or no sight, you got to go to second base on that ball.
First base coach has to help him out a little bit. Alex Ochoa, the first base coach.
Alex Ochoa is a Miami native. Miami Lakes High School.
You got Salty up here, a ground ball. You definitely double play. And Euclid is left one on deck,
so Bell has an out. He's got Gonzalez at first. Saltalamacchia, who had a frustrating day yesterday. After driving in 2 on Saturday, he struck out 4 times yesterday. He's flied out 3 times in this one.
There's that changeup again. See, all of a sudden, he really has confidence in that pitch. That gives him a 3rd pitch. And there aren't many closers who come in with 3 pitches.
No.
And that's why he can be so effective.
That also throw change. Most closers throwing hard, and they'll throw a split or something, but a changeup is definitely something I haven't seen a lot of the closers throw.
Got him! He chased.
And comes back with 95.
2 outs here in the 9th. Here comes Euclid. Marlins live after the ball game. Brought to you by Checkers. Out to center field. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. And here comes Euclid. Heath Bell trying to save it for Josh Johnson. Marlins trying to snap a 6-game losing streak and beat the Red Sox.
That could be his bread and butter pitch. If he can get that changeup consistently over the plate, and I don't know if I want it location-wise where he's throwing it, because if it becomes one of those pitches that you can look for, you can hit that pitch because it's in the heart of heart of the plate. But if he can throw that pitch, Rich, that'll set up his fastball that much more.
Euclid leaning in. That pitch on the inside corner. It's 1-1. And he docks the outside corner at 94. 1-2.
Boy, he is on the top of his game. Fastball, some good changeups, show breaking ball once in a while.
32,562. Many of them on their feet. The 1-2 coming. Did he go? No, he didn't. And it's 2-2.
I like that pitch, though. Up and in. Get Euclid from diving over a little bit. Now he can throw anything he wants to throw here.
He threw ball 3, and it's 3-2 with 2 outs, which means Gonzalez will be on the move. We've got Ryan Sweeney on deck. Youkilis, infamous for his long at bats for deep counts. Got it! Keith Bell saves it, and the 6-game losing streak is over. The Marlins beat the Red Sox 4-1.
Great pitch.
What a great start by JJ. A nice little bridge from Steve Cishek, and a terrific finish by Heath Bell. Heath Bell on his way out. 4-1. Marlins win it.